what's going down with everybody? This the kid DC Wrestling. Before I even get into the main topic of the video, obviously, just kind of wanted to piggyback on what happened last night. You know, the whole Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, which obviously was an embarrassment, but not a surprise at the same time. I mean, Mike Tyson's 58 years old. What'd you expect him to come out like it's 1996 or something, knocking out Jake Paul in the first round like he did all those other dudes years ago? Father Time is undefeated. Last night obviously was a prime example of that. The whole event, well, the whole fight, main event, was really just a money grab, to be honest with you. Like, regardless of the W or the L, like, both dudes got a big payday off of it. So that's really what it was at the end of the day. But one of the main things that went down last night with the whole show was Netflix as a whole. Because Netflix, and I even had this problem, obviously, it was buffering a lot. Like it was like not even 5 minutes would go by and it would just buffer over and over and over again. And the reason why I'm even bringing this all up is obviously because WWE is going to Netflix Monday Night Raw starting in January, and you already know the very first show, January 6th, WWE is going to go all out. WWE is going to push all their chips to the table. They're going all in. Like, they're going to try to make that first Raw Netflix show probably the greatest Raw of all time. And I don't want to watch the show and miss any important details when the show keeps buffering every 2 minutes. So hopefully Netflix can hopefully get their crap together by that time, because not only got WWE, but you got NFL Live coming on there. So, you know, you don't want to make it a bad experience for everybody. But anyways, moving on, AEW is next weekend, the next pay-per-view, AEW Full Gear. So we got the full card right here. So I'm going to start from the bottom, make my way to the top. So I don't usually talk about the kickoff shows. I normally skip past it. But in this case, I'm actually kind of intrigued by it a little bit. You got this dude, Big Boom AJ versus QT Marshall. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and lie that I don't know who Big Boom AJ is. I don't follow them, but I've seen their videos, you know, popping up on the social media feed every now and then. And they're normally known as the Costco guys. Big Boom, AJ, Big Justice. I know a lot of people don't really like them. I know their content can be kind of weird, but hey, they're a family. They're making content. You already know they probably getting a good bag off it at the end of the day. So the fact that they're enjoying it and doing good stuff in their family at the end of the day, you know, they probably ain't tripping about it. And I didn't even know this dude, Big Boom AJ, was a pro wrestler. You know, I just thought he was just, you know, your typical internet sensation. But he started off as a pro wrestler, you know, trained in pro wrestling a little bit. So he ain't going to be your normal average guy on the street. But you already know he going to win this match against QT Marshall. QT's out, that one villain. He's like that one Disney villain who ruins everything, has his moment to shine for like 2 minutes, and then gets his ass beat at the end of the movie. Typical villain movie hero. But the match that I'm gonna be talking about next, obviously, is this tag team match you got going on here. You got Private Party versus the Outrunners versus the Kings of the Black Throne versus the Acclaim in a fatal four-way tag team match player for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Right off the bat, it's really cool to see Private Party again have their moment, become tag team champions. This should be a really good tag team match. The Outrunners, I know, we're probably going to be the black sheeps of this match. They're kind of a tag team right now that's getting a little popular recently in AEW. The Acclaim, let's be honest with you, some will say they kind of falling off. They're not winning this match. I say Private Party ends up retaining their titles. They just won the titles. There's no way they're going to be losing this quickly. And then the next match is MJF, Roderick Strong. We've obviously been seeing this whole story with MJF and Adam Cole. Adam Cole, you would have thought, was going to be facing MJF at the pay-per-view, but he's been going through the jumps and circles of trying to face MJF, and he was going to get to him, but he lost to Kanutsuke Takeshita on Dynamite, so he couldn't have him at the pay-per-view. He'll have to fight him at a later date, probably World's End, which is where this story technically first started. And as far as this match goes, it should be a really good match. I think MJF is obviously going to win. So sorry, Roddy, but you're going to have to take the L here. You got Will Ospreay. You got Kyle Fletcher next. Two former best friends, now bitter enemies. And you add the addition of Mark Davis to the mix. Now, Mark Davis, he's been trying to talk to Kyle Fletcher for weeks now. Kyle Fletcher's been telling Mark Davis, you need to make a decision. You need to pick a side. And obviously, Ospreay's not here to talk. He's here to wrestle. I ain't going to lie to you. I do think that as good as this match will be, and these guys have fought before. As a matter of fact, this was literally Will's first singles Dynamite match against Kyle Fletcher, where he beat Kyle Fletcher. And I think Kyle Fletcher's going to win this match. Kyle Fletcher, I think, could really use the momentum beating Will Ospreay. But obviously, he ain't going to beat him clean. I think how Kyle Fletcher beats Will Ospreay is Mark Davis makes his decision and turns on Will Ospreay and joins Kyle Fletcher and the Don Callis family. So I think that's how you get that. I think that's how Kyle Fletcher wins the match. This is going to be a show stealer, I think. This could be one of the underrated matches that don't get talked about a lot. Swerve Strickland, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley's in-ring debut for AEW. You already know he's going to kill it. You already know he's going to be a star in this one. Obviously, Swerve has been hot and popping, but Full Gear, Swerve ain't going to be swerving and driving, man. Bobby Lashley's winning. There's no way in hell that you're going to have Bobby Lashley lose his in-ring debut match in AEW. As good as Swerve Strickland is, there's just no way he ain't beating Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley might end up squashing Swerve. That might be the shocker of the night. Bobby squashes Swerve Strickland. But the next match you got I'll get to Mercedes Moné in a minute, but you got Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would love to see Daniel Garcia pick up the W, win the TNT Championship. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, man. I think we do see it. I think if there's one title change I see happening on this show, I think Danny Boy wins the championship and beats Jack Perry for the TNT title. To really sell you in that the Elite are really falling apart. The Young Bucks are obviously they just left. They lost their titles. The C1's coming up. Okada's gonna be heavy in that tournament with his title on the line, and I think the Scapegoat loses his title to Daniel Garcia. Now, getting to another, I think one of the match of the night candidate, Hangman Page, Jay White. This is definitely pretty much gonna be in contention to see who might challenge for the world title next, and God, it's kind of hard to say, I say if Jay White wins, maybe you do a program with him and Moxley maybe for Winners Coming. I don't know if they still doing Winners Coming, the TV special, because usually around this time they be doing the little bracket tournament to see who be facing for the world title at Winners Coming, but they're not doing it this year, obviously, and I guess the main focus is going to be the C1 Continental Classic towards the end of the year. But I say Hangman Page just wins this match, I think, because Jay White beat him at Wrestle Dream, so Hangman might beat him this time around, and then we might get one more match, between the two to finish off the feud. So I'm going to go with Hangman winning this one. Now we get to the women for the TBS title, Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander. It's still, I don't want to say it's weird, but man, it's crazy how months ago, you had Chris Statlander being prompted up as this big heel, doing what she did to her former best friend, Willow Nightingale, just to turn babyface again and just dump old boy out of the blue. And now she's with Mercedes Moné. With that being said, as good as this match will be, I don't think Chris Statlander is winning the TBS title. I do think that Mercedes Moné just ends up winning and retaining the title. I really don't see who's going to beat Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné might end up holding that title for just a whole year, if I'm being honest with you. But we get to the main event, Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. And what's really cool about this is that, and it wasn't until I recently looked it up online, But John Moxley and Orange Cassidy, obviously this is the rubber match if you think about it, because they've not only fought obviously the big match at All Out last year, but last year they fought at a Full Gear, but it was for the international championship. So it's pretty cool that this year they're battling out for the AEW World Championship, and it's been a pretty solid build up, between Moxley and Orange Cassidy. It might just end up being a repeat of All Out, to be honest with you, because let's be honest, John Moxley ain't losing. Orange Cassidy, I know everybody love Orange Cassidy, but he ain't winning the AEW World Title. It's just not gonna happen. If he wins, I kid you not, I will. I don't know what I'd do. I'd be shocked, but ain't no way in hell John Moxley losing that championship. So that's gonna be the show. We'll see what happens, and that has been my official predictions of AEW's Full Gear. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Who y'all think gonna win and lose these matches, and we'll see what